What's up, guys? Clintus here, and I wanted to record this video and put all of your guys' burning questions, the answers to your burning questions, in one place, so that if you miss a vlog, you missed a podcast, you missed a tweet or an Instagram post, you can come back to this video, do a quick search on our channel, and be like, "Oh, here's all the the Q&A stuff about the move, why we sold our house, why we're renting a house." And all that sort of thing. So I threw out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even on my Discord server that I was doing a Q&A, and you guys sent in a ton of questions. Now, there are a lot of repeats, so if I say it was from one person, but you asked the same question, I apologize. I have hundreds of questions. So we're going to try and do a fast, rapid read through. I have probably 200 or 300 on Instagram alone, and then I have Facebook and Twitter as well. So we're going to kind of bounce around and answer as many questions as we can. I just want to give a quick shout out to our realtor, Michelle Dockel. I'll have her link in the description down below. If you're looking for a realtor here in the Phoenix area, you're moving here or trying to move out or whatever, that is who we recommend. She has sold both our houses and helped us find that last house. She'll be the one to help us find our next house. So michelledockel.com, link in the description down below. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you. All right, let's get into the Q's. First and foremost, we're gonna start with Instagram here, and the very first one is from Elena G, friend of ours, another YouTuber. It says, "Did Tiffany hate giving up the big open kitchen? How is she adjusting?" I actually just asked her this question in preparation because I knew this was the first question I was going to ask, and she said it's basically the same, just a little bit smaller. It's still very open, right? We have the island. She can stand in the kitchen and look out into the like the living room, as well as the patio, because the way the sliding glass door is right there. So it's so far so good. Obviously it's only been a week. She has cooked in it though. She has used it, and so far no complaints. She's just trying to figure out where everything's at, because obviously everything got condensed and moved. So it's just like our things are over here. Oh, the cups are over here, right? That kind of thing. But so far so good. So far so good. Next question is from I'm Derpy Boy. I'm Derpy Boy asks, how old is the house and how long do you want to stay in the house / neighborhood? This house is 2 years old, and we plan on being here in this house as long as it takes for us to find our next house. We're not locked into any kind of like long-term lease or anything like that. We can leave at any time with a small penalty. So we're just going to look for the next house, and however long that takes, a year, 6 months, 18 months, we're in no rush and we're in no hurry. But we want to stay in this neighborhood. That is the whole reason why we moved in the first place. After only 2 years being in the last house, we wanted to be in this community, and so far it's been amazing. Next question is from Hayden Adams 13. They ask, what do you hate / like about the new house? I don't hate anything, honestly. There's nothing to hate about the house. If we hated something, we wouldn't have moved into it, right? It's a basic 2-story single family home, right? 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. It's just a little bit smaller than our last house, right? The bedrooms are about the same size. I would say that these bedrooms, the kids' bedrooms, are almost identical, if not a little bit bigger than their last bedrooms. I'm trying to like gauge my office here. This looks like the same size as my last room, just smaller loft, smaller living room, smaller kitchen, and 2 less bedrooms, 1 less bathroom. So that's where the space really shrinks down, is the loft and the extra rooms. So yeah, I don't really say I hate anything. What I like about it is the location. Again, very walkable. Every day so far, we've basically gone out and walked around and explored the neighborhood and explored everything. We've gone and walked and got ice cream. We walked to happy hour. We walked to the pool. We walked to parks, multiple parks, so many parks. It's crazy. Gotta love it though. Let's see. Let's keep scroll through. Let's switch over to Twitter. My boy Bobazard13 on Twitter asks, favorite thing about the new house, favorite thing about the old house. Well, the favorite thing about the new house, again, is location. Location is everything. This is a rental. This is temporary. So, and it's nothing special. There's nothing special about this house at all. It's just your average plain Jane house, right? But the location is my favorite part, 100%. And we're testing out exact location. We're on the south side of the neighborhood. The north side is where the kids' schools are and the main street and all that stuff. So we're trying to figure out where the sweet spot is, where we want to be, how far away from everything we want to be. Favorite thing about the old house, for me, it's gonna be the yard. Even though we didn't utilize it as much as we should have, the yard was definitely the thing I'm gonna miss the most. Walking downstairs to that giant sliding glass door and seeing the pool and the grass and the barbecue pit and the patio and like just, I love the scenery. I took a lot of pictures of that. You know, constantly was taking photos from the back patio there. So that was definitely my favorite thing. I'll say as a secondary, the RV garage. Even though I didn't utilize it, I'm not a garage guy. I'm not a monkey, you know, a grease monkey out there working on stuff. It was nice having the space. It was nice having the trailer on property, lots of room for the dirt bikes, that sort of thing. So that'll definitely be missed. But again, not needed, and was definitely wasted on me. Right, my dad, my brother, they would have loved to have that garage. I didn't really use it to the fullest potential, if you know what I mean. Let's see here. Next question is from Kelly Gibson on Twitter asks, how do the kids feel about moving to a smaller house? Again, the house doesn't really feel that much. I mean, it is smaller. It does feel smaller, right? But the last house was too big. And, you know, we joked oftenly about, you know, having a mansion because it was like you could walk a circle, right, around the dining room table, through the pantry, through the kitchen, out the, you know, and then there was like a room over here and 2 rooms over here, and like it was very sprawled out, right? And then you go upstairs and it was just an empty loft that we never used, right? And an empty casita downstairs, like so it was too big. We're in a house that feels right. This feels like the right size of a home. It's in between our previous 2 homes, right? We went from 1,500 square feet to 4,300 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. And this feels like the right size for us. I would like it in 1 story. I would like it all in 1 floor. I think the space would be utilized better if it was all on 1 floor versus, you know, a small living area stacked on top of another small living area. But yeah, the kids are excited about the move. They like change, right? Moving sucks. Nobody likes to move, but they're excited about being closer to their friends, being closer to their schools. And again, we like to walk around, we like to explore, and we've been doing that nonstop with the weather. So they're excited about that. They're excited about that. I already answered that question. Let's go over to Facebook. We'll be doing a video showing the new community pool in other areas. That's from Lauren Sophie McBrien over on Facebook. Yeah, so Lauren, obviously the way we vlog, the way we do things is we just kind of do our thing. We live our life and we just vlog moments of it. We've already started to show the pool as we've been using it this weekend. So if you guys catch the next couple of days vlogs, you'll see little glimpses of the pool. Obviously, we have to be careful with that. We're in a public space, so just like when we would go to hotels or resorts, that sort of thing, you know, not to record, you know, a ton of video of other people. Also, YouTube's been funky about kids in bathing suits. We had a bunch of videos get demonetized last summer with the kids in bathing suits. Bryce with his shirt off, Sierra in a 2-piece, right? YouTube's cracking down on minors in bathing suits, and so we're gonna be less and less open to recording summer footage with the kids just because they get demonetized and then it doesn't get the same amount of views and it doesn't make the same amount of revenue. And this is a business and this is how I provide for the family. So we have to be strategic with the videos that we create and make sure that, you know, it's not too heavily focused on the pool activities. So we'll see how this summer goes. This is gonna be very interesting. I'm having meetings with my YouTube management to kind of figure that out and figure out what I can and can't show. And we'll go from there. But we'll show you guys every aspect that we can without, you know, giving away our exact location, you know, for privacy purposes. It's the reason why we don't show the front of our house while we're still living in it, that sort of thing. Let's see here. Shannon Shonio, I know Shannon from Twitch and YouTube. She asked, do you feel like you were rushed once your old house sold and that's why you went with a rental? Also, I know you just moved in, but out of the 3 houses, which one is your favorite? No, we definitely were not rushed. In fact, we took our time. We were getting the emails for the new houses to purchase, so we were always looking for the next house. But we found these rentals. We found a couple of rental options early on, and we said, okay, this is plan B, right? So this was plan B. Plan A was if a house popped up on our radar. But we definitely did not rush. We definitely took our time. Our house actually was on the market for about 6 months. So we had 6 months of showings and, you know, time to like prepare mentally. So Tiffany didn't even cry when we left the house, right? She was done after cleaning it and prepping it for the new owners. She was like, deuces, I'm done. I think we were only there because we were only there for 2 years. She didn't really grow sentimental attachment to it like she did the first house. The first house, we were there for 14 years, and both our kids were born in that house. We got married in that house. That house had a lot of sentimental value, and Tiffany did get choked up and teary-eyed over that. But to answer your second question, is of the three houses, which one's my favorite? I mean, that last house was amazing, right? Like, it's one of those houses you see on TV, or you visit as like a museum, like so and so used to live here, right? Like, it was a show house, right? Every room was decked out. It was a model home, so every upgrade that you can get in a house when you're building a house, it had it. But like I said, it was too big for us, and so it didn't quite feel like home. As I know that sounds weird. After 2 years, you think it'd be home. It just didn't feel right. It never felt right. Obviously, I think I just needed more time for it to feel right. But our lifestyles changed. Our lifestyles changed, and the way that we live our lives changed. So even moving into that house as a different person, as a different family, versus our first house where we kind of grew up into it, it just felt different. So I definitely would say the last house of the three so far has been my favorite, but that's just because of the amenities it had, the beautiful pool, the giant patio. I was a big fan of the pool, even though the family wasn't, that sort of thing. So, let's see here. Jacob Allaward asks, do you hate not having a pool in your yard and a basketball court in your yard? Too soon to tell. If you didn't know, this house we're renting right now does not have a pool or basketball court in the backyard. In fact, it doesn't even have a backyard. We have just a patio. This is one of the things that we're testing out with this house is, do we need a backyard, right? And do we need a pool? The basketball court is relative. Most people don't have basketball courts in their backyard. They have like a hoop in their front yard or whatever. We have basketball courts all around us. We found multiple basketball courts within walking or scooter distance. So if Bryce does feel like playing basketball, it's just a short hop, skipping away, and he can get back on the basketball court and play basketball. The community pools, we have 3 community pools. One's walking distance, the other 2 are biking distance or a quick like 2-minute car ride. And there's pros and cons to both, right? Right away, I can tell you that I'm going to a public pool, right? Grew up going to public pools. I didn't have a pool until I was in high school. And so definitely different, right? You go walk out there and there's hundreds of people. And so now you're being looked at, you're being watched. You have to be cognizant of what you look like. Having a pool in your backyard, I literally could walk out there in my underwear, jump in the pool naked if I wanted to. There's pros and cons to that. On the flip side, though, I don't have to maintain it. I don't have to clean it. I don't have to check the chemicals. I don't have to worry about skimming it or brushing it. Bryce doesn't have to worry about doing the chores. So there's pros and cons to that, and we're testing that out. Again, this is a big test for us with this rental. Is do we miss having our own pool? This summer will be that test, right? The next 3 to 4 months. Are we? I want to swim, but I don't want to walk over there. I don't want to pack a bag, right? I think that there's going to be more intentionality when we decide to go swimming, right? Packing a bag and making sure we have everything we need and whatnot. You'll see in the next vlog, we forgot one very important thing when we left, and that's a house key, right? Got to make sure you have a house key or you get locked out of your house. So, I don't know. It's too soon to tell, but I think that having a community pool is probably the right pick for us. Kids are getting older. They don't really even need a backyard these days, right? If they really want to go out and do something, they'll go to a park. There's a lot more options, I think, this way. Flexibility. Let's see if there's anything else on Facebook sticking out on me. Katie Jerome asks, are the kids going to have to change schools? No, that was another reason why we wanted to move into this community, into this neighborhood. We're in the community, in the neighborhood that the kids' schools are in, and where most of their friends actually live as well. Their 2 best friends don't live in this community. Their 2 best friends live outside of the community like we did. But we are closer to both of them. So if that it's kind of weird to say, both their best friends live out of this community, but we're closer to them now from where we live now than where we used to live. All the rest of their friends, they're super close. Bryce went to a friend's house just around the corner. He could ride his scooter to his house. Sierra was talking to one of her friends that live 2 blocks over. So now that they live in this community, it's a lot easier to hang out with more friends, right? Before it was like 1 or 2 specific friends that we had to go pick up or get dropped off and had to plan and coordinate. Now they have more friend options. And they won't have to switch schools. Sierra's going to high school this year, and she's actually in the boundaries for that school. We don't have to get like a special variance and special privileges to move in. She'll be taking the bus. Bryce, same thing, inside his school and where he lives and in the boundaries and whatnot. So both kids are staying in the same schools. That was the most important part for us, to move here and get moved in before the school started. All right. All right, let's go back to Instagram since that had the most questions. Sarah Azam asks, do you have a basement? No, we don't have a basement. I think that'd be really cool if we did, but here in Arizona, the ground is really, really hard and a lot of rocks. And so you don't find a lot of basements here in Arizona. There are a few. There are some builders that will go out of their way to make a basement. That's a special thing, but no, we don't have basements here. I wish. Gamer Boy asked how long you plan on living in the new house. Again, just until we find the next house, no set time frame, that sort of thing. Truman8429 asked, will you regret it? Too soon to tell, right? You don't know you regret something until after you do it. I don't think we're going to regret this. I think it was a smart move for us. We wanted to move before it got hot in the summer and before the kids started school. So that's why the last 6 months the house has been up for sale, because we wanted to move while it was still relatively cool. We did not lose any money on the house. We made money, right? We built some equity in the house after 2 years. So that's nice. We have that money in savings for the next house, the next move, that sort of thing. And yeah, only time will tell if we regret, but I'm always moving forward. I'm always thinking ahead. I try not to look in the past and dwell on the past. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and but you know, you learn from them, and that's the key. As long as you learn from your mistakes and don't make the same mistake twice, it's all good. It's all good. Can you show us the kids' rooms in a vlog? We will do a house tour once the house is completely unpacked, settled. I still have a lot of stuff in boxes here. I got posters to hang up. There's a bunch of boxes upstairs still that have to be unboxed and kind of put away. So probably another week or so of unpacking and settling in, and then we'll do a house tour for you guys for sure. 100%. Oh, here we go. McDevitt Preston asks, is Bryce still playing basketball with his team, or is he going for a different team? Bryce will stay with his club team all the way up until he gets to high school. And then once we get to the high school level, that's when we start paying attention to the clubs in our area and what clubs feed our high school. And that's just a political thing, right? Like no matter where you live, you want to be playing with the club and the kids and the coaches that are in your area and in your school. So Sierra, for example, this year, we're most likely switching volleyball clubs because she's going to high school, and the club out here directly connects to the high school. So just smart to do that. But no, Bryce won't be changing until then. Love Maddie 07 asks, how far in miles did you move from the old house to the new house? We're about 15 minutes away. I don't know the exact mileage. I want to say it's maybe 7 miles. Exactly 7 miles. About 15 minutes from where our old house was. Because again, the kids' schools are in this neighborhood. The kids' friends are in this neighborhood, and this is the neighborhood that Tiffany and I come to very often for happy hour, for the farmers markets, for different social events. This was the main reason why we wanted to move. And I know this question's probably scattered in here a bunch. Right here, Dom Carapella 12. Probably pronounced your name wrong. Dom Carapella 12. Why did you move? The quick answer, guys, was the location. This area, in fact, was not the area we were looking at originally. Originally, we were looking up at North Peoria, up at Lake Pleasant, and I wanted to live around Happy Valley and Lake Pleasant Parkway. That intersection there has everything: restaurants, fast food, coffee shops, sushi, pizza, grocery stores, everything you could think of was in that intersection. I wanted to live within a mile of that intersection, right? That was the area we originally were looking in. In fact, we had a house picked out, a contract laid out, and we had to cancel that contract because it didn't have internet. If you've been watching the vlogs for a while, you know that. Tiffany, we ended up finding the house that we bought in a different area, completely different part of town. And we thought we'd make it work because the house was that amazing. But come to find out, the location was still very important to us, and that's what drove us to this neighborhood and this community. Was there was stuff always going on here, right? You come in here, you walk around. We love walking around. We love exploring. You guys know that we've been doing it pretty much every day since we moved into this house because the area is just so walkable and so friendly, and there's so much to see. It's so great and wonderful. But the last house, as much as amazing as the last house was, the location wasn't what we wanted. The neighborhood itself, there were some friendly people, but everyone's very secluded and kind of they drive into their driveway, close the garage door behind them kind of people. There were a couple of friendly faces, but even after 2 years, I only knew 2 of my neighbors' names, right? And then maybe another 2 or 3 more that I'd say hi to as walking by. It just wasn't the right fit for us, right? And again, nothing to walk to. There was no places to go to grab a bite to eat, to grab a snack, to nothing, right? And so this neighborhood has that, and that's what we're very excited about. So that's why we moved. Aside from that, again, like I said before, the house was too big. It felt wasted on us. It was expensive, and so we were paying a lot of money for that house, and it just didn't feel right. So we were kind of like, paying a lot of money for this empty room and that empty room and all of this empty space over here, and it just didn't feel right. So combination of those 2 things gave us the thumbs up. We talked to the kids, right? This was a family decision. We asked the kids their thoughts about moving into this community, and they both gave us a thumbs up. They were both very excited about it. So it was a family decision, and we're all very happy because of it. Let's see here. Carson Birch asks, would you ever build a house? If so, where? We built our first house. Tiffany and I built our first house before we had kids, before we were married. And that experience was fantastic. In fact, they're building some new houses around the corner from us, and I walked Sierra through there and was showing her like how the house looks, as it's being built. And I said, I hope that one day you get to build a home and you get to see the process of this. Would we ever do it again? I would not say no, but I also don't think it's necessary. Most time in this community is a little different. They are still building new houses in this community, but very specific locations. In order to build a new house, you have to go to a new area, to go to a new community. You have to go out further than you normally want to. And I want to live more into a community, more into a downtown area. So I don't see myself building a new house anytime soon, but that could change. They're literally building new houses across the street from Main Street here. So there's a possibility if the house meets our needs and requirements. Again, we're going to be very specific about our next house we purchase because we don't want to do this again anytime soon. Yeah. Rental ? Yeah, Daniel, we did the rental because we didn't want to rush into a purchase of a new home. So we were renting until we find the next house, and we're gonna take our time, make sure we get it right this time. What city was your old house in? Autumn asks. Autumn, it was in technically Litchfield Park. Litchfield Park is the actual zip code that we lived in, but it's right next to Buckeye and Goodyear. Those are the 2 cities that we are always in. Kind of like our last house. Our first house was in El Mirage, but we were always in Surprise. So I would always just reference everything in Surprise. We lived in Surprise, that sort of thing. Same thing with our last house. I used to say, we live in Goodyear, right? Or we live in Buckeye, because that's where the communities we were always in. Go shopping over here, we go eat over here, that sort of thing. A lot of random questions. Trying to get to the big ones here. How long we stay in the new house again until we find the next house. Do the kids like their bedrooms? Do you guys have a pool? Kids like their bedrooms. Like I said, they're about the same size as they were before, so very similar setups. Sierra does have a new bed though. Are you close to your families? This question got brought up a couple times. How far are you away from the Vivos? How far are you away from your family? Basically, add 5 minutes to our old house. We are further south, but we're closer to the freeway. So we just hop on the freeway, and it's all freeway all the way around. So it's 5 minutes more to everything. 5 minutes more to the Vivos. 5 minutes more to Tiffany's parents' house. 5 minutes more to my parents. 5 minutes more to my brothers. That sort of thing. But we're a lot closer to grocery store, a lot closer to food and amenities. So it's a nice trade-off. Matt first asked, would you consider moving to somewhere outside of Arizona? I would love to. Personally, I love Arizona. Arizona's my home, right? I want to be buried here, right, when I die. But I would love to live in another city, another state for a couple of years. Seattle, love Seattle, love the Pacific Northwest. I love San Diego, LA, all those beach towns. San Francisco, big fan. Austin, Orlando, Tampa, areas. I mean, there's a lot of great places in this country, and I haven't even visited half of them. So yeah, I'd be down to move and live somewhere else for a couple of years, but I know I can't get Tiffany to go. She wants to stay here with her family, and she can't imagine moving away. So we'll see what happens when the kids get older and the kids move out. I mean, if the kids start traveling and they're across the country, then we're really not tied down here as much as we could be. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm down. It's convincing the other half. More of the same questions. Here's a good one. That Hike Life on Instagram asks, where do you guys see yourself in 10 years if it's just you and Tiffany in a house? And they're specifically talking about the area. Again, I that's a good question. I can see myself downtown Phoenix, downtown Tempe, Old Town Scottsdale, even parts of Chandler. I love, again, very walkable, urban, locations where you walk out your front door and you can walk a couple blocks to a coffee shop or a pizza shop or some tacos or to happy hour, or hey, there's a festival and a carnival going on. Like, that's what I want. And that's where I envision me and Tiffany being in the next, 15 to 20 years. Kids are gone, starting their own families, doing their own thing. But a lot of that has to do with what the kids do. Now, if the kids stay here and they start families young like we did, then we want to be close. We want to be close to the grandkids. We want to be close to the family. I know Tiffany's definitely want to stick around with Tiffany, with Sierra. She becomes a mom. So, I mean, if the kids stick around and they're doing their thing and they start young like we did, then we'll stick around. We'll keep a house that has an extra bedroom, that sort of thing. But if the kids travel, go to college, kind of do the single life for a while, and they're kind of doing their own thing, then I can see Tiffany and I downsizing and moving into one of those like downtown areas. So I personally see us moving, probably 2 or 3 more times in our life cycle, right? I don't think the next house is gonna be our forever house, but you never know. Can't predict the future. Let me find a couple more questions here. We're running long. We're almost 30 minutes now. So let me see if there's any other burning questions. You guys ask a lot of random questions that weren't involved with this actual question. I think I got all the big questions. I mean, there's a lot of little questions in here. They're just kind of like one-offs. And how do you get not stressed? We just do. We just have to do it. Do we have a backyard? No, there's no backyard. Show us the backyard. Will Bryce get a basketball court? Nope. We got community ones. You also have to remember too, guys, a lot of the choices to move was because the lack of utilizing the space, right? Bryce would go weeks without touching that basketball court. The kids and Tiffany would go weeks without going in the pool. The loft still empty after 2 years. That guest room downstairs empty, other than that extra desk. That's an extra desk that we didn't even keep, right? My brother ended up keeping it. We didn't need that desk. It was just there, so Bryce was using it. So technically, that casita downstairs was empty as well. It was just wasted space. It was just wasted. We were paying for it and we weren't using it. It just seemed silly. So we downsized, and this house is being fully utilized. Every room is being used, and it feels right. It feels like more like a home. And now we have, some awesome amenities to hang out in, and saving some money in the process. So we're excited about this. All right, I think that's gonna do it. There's literally hundreds of questions. I'm scrolling through here, just trying to find one that pops out at me. Yeah, there you go. If you guys have more questions, I didn't answer your question, there's a burning question you have, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram or send me a tweet on Twitter. I'm at Clintus on both. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, interacting with our content, coming along with us for the ride. We're start looking at houses again, right? Our realtor Michelle is going to start the search again for us, and when we find a house that we want to go look at, we'll bring you guys along, we'll vlog it, and you guys will be with us the whole way and be along the whole process while we're looking for our next house. So we love you guys. Thank you very much for all the support, and we will see you guys on the internet.